Good afternoon and a very warm welcome back to the channel. So whether you've just purchased one of these bikes or you're just a little bit curious, in today's video we're going to talk all about running in the Royal Enfield Bear. Okay folks, so I made a very similar video to this when I purchased my brand new 411 Himalayan, and that seemed to go down pretty well. So I thought I'd make a very similar video, but this time in relation to the Bear. And weirdly, I actually think this is the route let's try that again. I actually think this is the route that I rode when I made that 411 video. So, when you're running in a brand new bike, there's three things that you really want to be looking out for. One is the mechanical side of things, two is the tyres, and three are the brakes. So, we'll start with the tyres. So, I've now ridden 204 miles on this particular bike, so the tyres are now, really nicely scrubbed in. So, for the first 100 miles or so, I'd say you need to be super cautious. Obviously, when they come out of the moulds at the factory, there's they're a little bit slippery. For the second 100 miles on it, again, a little bit cautious, and after that, you should be absolutely fine. Just remember, when you do start to push whatever bike you've got on a little bit, you're going to be going over onto essentially non-scrubbed rubber. So just be careful, progressively lean the bike as you go, and the tyres will pretty much take care of themselves. Now the second thing that you want to be really mindful of is the brakes. So the brakes are going to take a little bit of time to bed in, and I'm somebody that usually rides without using much brake at all. So for the last couple of 100 miles I've been really conscious of that, and I'm trying to use them just that little bit more. Usually what I like to do is kind of brake nice and early, slow down nice and early, go down through the gears, let the engine do a lot of the braking for me, and I tend to use the brakes pretty minimally. Through this running process I've been trying my very hardest not to do that, and the reason for that is that the brakes, as much as the tyres and the engine, need to be bedded in as well. So this doesn't mean obviously that you ride the bike straight out of the showroom and do an emergency stop on the bike. No, not at all. But what we're talking about here is using the brakes nice and progressively, and probably using about 50% of the power. So if 100% is emergency stop, that gives you some kind of idea of what you want to be doing with the brakes, just to bed them in. And kind of 200-300 miles down the road, as long as you're using them a decent amount, again, the brakes should take care of themselves. Now we come on to the big one, running in the mechanical side of the bike, the engine, the gearbox, all of that kind of good stuff. And there's a couple of different trains of thought on this. Some people are of the kind of thought process that you don't need to run the bike in at all and just ride it how you want, straight out of factory. If that's you, that is absolutely fine. But for me personally, any of you that watch the Himalayan content on the channel will know that I'm really particular about running in my bikes. Now for this particular bike, it's a lot easier than the Himalayan. So for the Himalayan, for the first 300 miles I think it was, I wasn't able to go above 40 miles an hour. Thankfully I am able to do that with this bike, which makes it an awful lot easier. So for the first 310 miles, I don't know where they've got the odd 10 from, but for the first 310 miles you're not meant to go above 4,000 revs, and then between 310 and 1,250 you're not meant to take the bike above 6,000 revs. I'm just going to try and nip past this car here. Just passed its test, so there we go, nicely up to 4,000 revs. So what I'm trying to do when I'm running in a bike is using the entirety of the rev range as much as I can. If I'm allowed to go up to 4,000 revs, I want to make sure I'm doing that. I don't want to be short shifting and changing gears at 2,000 to 3,000 revs. The more you can go up and down through that box and use the entirety of the rev range in each gear, the better really. I'll just pause here for a second, let this fan get some distance on me, and just take her up to 4,000 in every single gear. will see, folks, that 4,000 revs on this bike should be about 57 miles an hour. And that's why I say this bike has been so much easier to run in than the 411 Himalayan, because I'm not having to be so careful with the bike. When I was running in that bike, I took a lot of back lanes, a lot of little B roads. I definitely avoided dual carriageway, and to be honest guys, I tried to avoid A roads as much as I possibly could. With this bike, yes, I'm staying off the dual carriageway, that's no fun anyway, but I am able to go on the A roads without kind of fear of holding up the traffic and making too much of a nuisance of myself. So certainly the first couple of hundred miles of running this bike in has been much easier and a lot more enjoyable than it was on the 411 Himalayan, that's for sure. So I'm just doing a little 50-mile road ride today, and then I'm taking the bike 50 miles to the dealership tomorrow morning actually to have its very first service. I'll take you guys along there with me, open the bike up a little bit more. And tell you the kind of difference in power. But again, in terms of running this bike in, like I say, just up to 4,000 revs, there's a couple of things you want to be mindful of. One, like I mentioned, is not riding the bike too slowly. You want to use the entirety of the rev range, and of course the opposite of that is you don't want to ride the bike too quickly. You don't really want to go above that 4,000 revs if you can help it. If you're in an emergency situation and you need to get out of the way of an oncoming vehicle, of course, chuck all of that straight out of the window. Do what you need to do to make yourself safe. Do not put your life in danger for the sake of running in a motorcycle. That's one of the worst things you can do. Now, as well as kind of not going too fast, like I said, you want to be careful not to go too slow. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to bog down the engine. So if you've got to slow right down at a set of traffic lights, for example, switch it down into first. Don't try and pull away in second from 5 miles an hour and bog down the engine. That's not going to help it at all. And all you're trying to do really is loosen everything up, get everything nicely lubricated so the engine will give you the best possible lifespan. And in terms of kind of lubricating everything up, what I like to do with all of my bikes before setting off, not just for the run-in process, but for the entirety of my time with them really, is let the bike idle for just a couple of minutes, get that oil flowing around all of the components in the engine. One other thing to note in terms of not going too fast or too slow is not to go at the same speed all the time. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to go down a 60 mile an hour road and just leave the throttle pinned at 57 miles an hour, for example. You want to vary the revs, like I've mentioned. So even now when I'm going through this 30, I'll leave it at 30 for a few seconds, I'll come off the throttle ever so slightly, just 5 or 10%, and then I'll push it on again, another little 5 or 10%, just varying the revs so that you're kind of running through the entire rev range of the bike. It doesn't want to be pinned at one speed constantly. That's no good when you're running in a motorcycle. Okay folks, hopefully you found that video useful. If you did, a like rating is always appreciated. Feel free to hit that subscribe button down below. Like I mentioned, tomorrow morning we're going to be heading off to Sycamore, Royal Enfield in Peterborough to get this bike serviced for the very first time, and I'm going to be taking you guys along for the ride with me. So as always, thank you all so very much for watching. Take care, ride safe, until the next time, goodbye.